All hell breaks loose in the Middle East. The United States and Israel just launched Operation Epic Fury against Iran. Iran responded by firing ballistic missiles at American military bases across 7 countries, including a direct hit on U.S. naval facilities in Bahrain. But here's what Trump isn't telling you. Negotiations were reportedly days away from a deal on nuclear enrichment. Trump walked away because this isn't about uranium anymore. It's about regime change. Here's what's happening. Hit that subscribe button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, Iran media reported just hours ago that Iran already launched dozens of ballistic missiles at Israel. And Qatari officials say that Qatar already intercepted 2 Iranian missiles, indicating Iran is carrying out that plan to retaliate.
Well, we certainly know that Iran has already fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel. We had sirens going off not only here in Tel Aviv, but also in Jerusalem, in northern Israel, in southern Israel, pretty much Israelis everywhere across the country, millions heading to bomb shelters as those ballistic missiles came in. It does appear that there were several intercepts. We have not yet gotten reports of any actual impacts as a result of those ballistic missiles, but all of this kicked off this morning around 8:15 a.m. local time. Israelis were woken to the sound of sirens, not announcing incoming missiles, but rather alerting Israelis to this new state of emergency that is in place as Israel announced that it had struck targets in Iran. We then quickly learned that it was not just Israel, but that these are joint strikes carried out by the United States and the Israeli militaries, targeting a range of targets inside of Iran. I'm told that there were dozens of targets that were struck by both militaries. We have been watching, of course, for weeks now as the United States has been carrying out this enormous military buildup in the region, but simultaneously a diplomatic track was taking place. But this morning, that diplomatic track was completely cast aside in favor of this military action by the United States and Israel. We heard from President Trump making clear that this is not just about going after Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear programs, but setting the conditions for regime change. And we have heard similar comments as well from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We know now that Israel is at a very heightened state of awareness. Most Israelis are either in their bomb shelters or very close by, awaiting the ramifications of this, as we are already watching Iran launch missiles not only here, but at other sites across the Middle East.
President Trump is monitoring the strikes from his Mar-a-Lago resort, and he calls on Iranians to stand up to their government and warns the fight could put American lives in danger. He also says the U.S. has done everything it can to keep American troops safe in the region.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force.
What is your message to the president?
Well, I think this is mission impossible. For regime change, you cannot do regime change while millions of people are supporting these so-called regime. You just look at what happened in the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. We had altogether about 30 million people in the streets in all cities of Iran in support of the Islamic Republic and in support of the whole system. So you cannot, change this regime because it's supported by the people. Yes, there are also people who are complaining, but they are strong supporters of the regime, of the system at the same time. And then we have a very well-established political structure, and they have tried regime change. This is not the first time that they want to do regime change. They have tried it in the past. Look, in the past 47 years, the United States has tried everything, from coup, from sanctions, 8 years of war by Saddam Hussein, supported by the United States and many others, and then, 12-day war, snapback, in the Security Council, and terrorist operations. They have tried everything, and all of them failed. And I don't know why they don't, understand their failures. So if they want to repeat a failed experience, they won't get any better result.
Then, sir, what is your message to the Iranian people? We understand that you describe the president's call for regime change as mission impossible. What is your message to the people of Iran right now? In your words, everything is under control, but based on what the world is seeing, there appears to be smoke coming up from a variety of different sites throughout Tehran. There appears to be some panic and real concern there. What do you tell the people of that country about the state of its government and the state of Iran broadly?
Well, I said everything is under control. I didn't say that there is no war. Of course there is war. Of course there is panic. Of course there are attacks to different buildings. Of course, about 60 students, girl students, have been killed in one school. Of course there are those things. But my message to my own people is that we are a great nation with a great civilization. We have lasted for thousands of years. and we know how to defend ourselves. We know how to deal with our enemies, and we will survive when we become more stronger out of this.
So when you hear the president say to the people of Iran, your freedom is your own, rise up, the United States will be with you, you say to them that's a hollow gesture?
Isn't that the intervention in the, internal affairs of another country? If we had done so, what have you said? So the president of another country, no matter how powerful, has no right to decide for the people of another country, to order the people of another country what to do and what not to do. And this is what he did, by the way, in those terrorist operations. He was the one who set fires in the governmental buildings. Do this, do that, and now he's asking people to rise against their government. Has he any right to do that? I don't think so.
What just unfolded overnight in the Middle East represents a dramatic escalation that has pushed the United States into full-scale military conflict with Iran. The United States and Israel launched a joint operation against Iran called Operation Epic Fury, and Iran has responded with ballistic missile strikes across the entire region. Iranian missiles struck Israel, the UAE targeting Abu Dhabi and Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. Most significantly, ballistic missiles hit the U.S. Fifth Fleet Naval Support Activity installation in Bahrain, a direct strike on American military assets. The only country Iran didn't target was Oman, which had been mediating negotiations. The operation consisted of what Israel described as decapitation strikes, targeting top Iranian military and political leadership. Israel focused on eliminating Iran's command structure while the U.S. attacked military infrastructure. According to officials, this is planned as a multi-day campaign, not a one-time strike. But here's what makes this particularly troubling. This isn't about uranium enrichment anymore. Trump has made that explicitly clear. This is about regime change. He's calling for Iranians to revolt and overthrow the Ayatollah, fundamentally restructuring the entire government. The timing is remarkable given what was happening in negotiations just yesterday. Oman's foreign minister appeared on Face the Nation describing significant progress. According to him, Iran had essentially agreed to stop enriching uranium, would not accumulate bomb-capable material, would downblend existing stockpiles, and would accept full verification by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Negotiations were scheduled to resume Monday to work out remaining details. A deal was reportedly within reach. Then the United States decided it wasn't about uranium after all. It was about regime change. In a video posted to Truth Social, Trump told Iranians that for many years they've asked for America's help but never got it, that no president was willing to do what he's willing to do. He framed the strikes as giving them what they want, then told them to prove it by revolting. The irony is thick. This is the same Trump who repeatedly attacked Obama for being weak, claiming Obama would get America into a war with Iran because he couldn't negotiate. This is the same administration whose advisor Stephen Miller said, warmongers love sending your kids to die for wars they would never fight themselves. Meanwhile, as America entered this war, Trump was posting about 2020 election conspiracies. His message about the war itself was essentially that soldiers may die, but that's what happens in war. The strategic implications are enormous. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical shipping choke points, is now an active conflict zone. If that waterway shuts down, the economic consequences would be global. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have stated they have the right to respond militarily. This could rapidly expand beyond the US, Israel, and Iran. After decades of negotiations and sanctions focused on preventing nuclear weapons, the United States has now committed to forcibly changing the Iranian government. The question remains unanswered. Why did the U.S. walk away from an achievable deal to pursue regime change? And what will the ultimate cost be? You're watching Inside Politics. Hit subscribe and help us reach 100,000 subscribers and comment your thoughts.